Hi guys, how's it going? So today's we're going to be looking at this problem called append frequency. So we're told that we're given a string sentence and we need to return the same string with an addendum after each character of number of occurrence a character appeared in a sentence. I know that might sound very mouthful, but I'll try to explain it in an example. However, we should note that we shall not treat the spaces as characters. Also, do not return addendum for those characters that also appeared in the discard list. Okay, but essentially what they're saying is that when we're given a string like so we need to return the number of times a character appeared, and we need to return it in such a way that, for instance, we can't return how many times it appeared because it's in the discard list. However, n, we return 1 next to it, after it, because it appeared once in the string. If we look at R2, we can see that R appeared twice. It's R and R. So that's why here we have R. But essentially what they're saying is that, let's say you have interview query. So when you get to n, for instance, here we have, let me just erase this. So you have I'm not going to return the number because of it's in the discard list. I get to n, then I see that, okay, cool. And how many times did it appear? It appeared once. I go to T. T, yes, is not in the discard list, so I need to return their number. So T is going to be once. Then I go to E. E appeared how many times? It appeared 3 times. I think it's going to be E, E, and E. So yes, but now I can't return it because it's in the discard list. So I was gonna write 3 if it was not in here. So I'm gonna leave it like that. Then now we go to R. Then R appeared twice. But now you get the point. That's what essentially they want us to do, right? So now the question is, how would we then approach this, right? So what I'm thinking of us doing is that we can try to count how many times. That's the first thing that we can do, is that we can count the number of characters, right? The number of characters, right? For instance, if we have interview query, so we can create a hash to say it appeared once. Then we go to n, it appeared once. Then we go to T, it appeared once. Then we go to E, it appears 3 times. So essentially we loop through this interview query, this sentence that we're given, then we count how many times we've seen that character. So for example, we saw it once, and we saw it once, just like so. The question maybe you might be asking yourself, why are we doing this? I'll explain that in the second step of the solution. 2, what we're gonna do is that now we need to construct the results. We need to construct the results. But then how do we construct the results? Because things are immutable. How are we gonna like try to add these things, like add 2 on a string and stuff like that? So for that, we're just gonna create an array. Yes, we're gonna create a list. So we're gonna append our result into this our string rather into this array or list. This is mainly because we can't append necessarily to a string, so we're gonna have to join the results using this dot join function, which I'll explain in a later second, but just keep that in mind for now. Then the second step, our second for loop, which is also not cheap, it's gonna take us off n because we're going through the string, and the first step also took us off n because we have to loop through the sentence so that we can count how many times each word occurs. Then what we're gonna do here, we're gonna go for I all the way to sentence, and we're gonna get this element in the sentence. Yes, we're getting the element in the sentence. After we get the element, we're gonna ask if the element that we got, is it in? Yes, it is in the discard. Is it in the discard set, right? So we wanna know if it's in the discard set so that we don't include the number in the result. But now this operation is going to take us, it's very expensive, it's going to take us off n. So because of this, what can we do to make sure that we do this and we do the checking in constant? So we can use a set. So we're gonna use a set, meaning that this discard list that you see here, we're gonna put it in a set. So a set allows us to check if something exists in of 1. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna make sure that we're gonna set our discard list. So when we check like so, it's very fast. So we do this in of 1. And then we're told that, don't forget that they said that also the space. So if element equals to space, so we shouldn't include a number into it. So it's fine. So what we're gonna do then, we're just gonna say results.append. Yes, results.append element, right? Appending the element, we don't append it with number. We append it like that because there is no number, because it's in the discuss set or it's an empty string, so we don't have to include the number. But now what happened when we have to append the character with the number? This should be easy now because we're just gonna say results.append on our else statement. Then we take the element, right? We take the element, then we say plus string. We index, yes, because we want to know how many times did it appear. So we need to index our hash, the guy that we created first. So we're gonna say string frequency element, then we pass in the element inside here. So this is gonna give us the number of times it appeared, and then we're gonna have something like this. For instance, I2. So we have I2 added into our list. So but now our list will look something like this. Yes, will look something like this. So let's say we have for instance it will be comma, we have something like n1, we have comma, we have t1, we have comma, just like so. So we need now to combine all of this thing, like make it a string. So that's when I told you that we're gonna use this function. Then we're gonna say join, then we pass in the results inside here. So results is the string here, so it's just gonna concatenate all of this. So you can think it's gonna say n, n1, t1, just like so. That's all it is to this problem. So yeah, let's start wasting any time. Let's get into it and see how we can actually solve it with code. So now coming to the code, the first thing that I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna create the dictionary, the frequency dictionary. I'm gonna use this default dictionary because I don't want to. I want to handle the, you know, like if something does not exist and you wanna like append, you wanna add into it. So it's gonna help us to handle those edge cases much better. So what I'm gonna do is that instead I'm just gonna say from collections, and I'm gonna import the default dictionary. So the default dictionary, essentially you can think of it as if you try to add into, or you try to index something that does not exist in a dictionary, it will throw you an error. So it helps us to avoid those edge cases. We can still write the edge case if you're in an interview and your interviewer wants you to write, it does not want you to import a library. It's still okay, you can still do it. I'll show you how you can do it, but for now let's just continue. So like I said, what I want to do is that you want to take the discard list and you want to create a set from it so that we can have a constant lookup. Then you're gonna say for I in range, you're gonna go through the dictionary, not the sentence, I meant to say. Then you're gonna create a list of the sentence. Then what you want to do is that for each element, you want to take the frequency and pass in the sentence. I, then you say this is equals to frequency. So you're saying that for each character here, right, it's gonna be this number. It appeared this number of times. So you're saying that in the frequency dictionary, does this character already exist? Please give me its value and add 1 to that value. So you can think of what we're doing here is that we say we're asking ourselves if I exist in the dictionary, right? If I exist, if it exists, then we're gonna append 1 to it, to the current value. So you can think of for instance, we started with 1, then we ask does I exist, give me its value, it's gonna get 1, then append 1 to that value. So here it's gonna be 2, just like that. So if it does not exist, for instance, let's say we have an empty dictionary, that's where the default didn't help us because we don't have to handle the edge cases. So we can say, okay, just append it and assign it to 1 because we set the default here as an int. So it's gonna add 1 to an int. You can think of it as a 0, so it's gonna be 1. So that will be fine. So yeah. But however, if you're in an interview and your interviewer doesn't want you to use a dinged, what you can do is that you can do it with an if statement. You can say if sentence I, you can do it like so. Let's say if sentence I, not in frequency dictionary. So it's gonna return true. When it returns true, then you know that okay, cool, it's my first time adding this. So what I will do is that I'll take the frequency and assign it to 1. So I'll do something like this and say equals to 1. Okay, then on the else statement, what you will do then, it will be more like, you know that okay, it exists, so it will never throw me an error. So you will be adding, it's gonna do something like +1, something like this. Okay, so that's how you can go about it in case the interviewer says that you don't import libraries. Anyway, so now we can set the results because we need to append our result into this list. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna get each element in our string. For element in list of sentences, the reason I'm getting each element is because remember that I want to see which one I discarded. I want to get their number, the number of times they appeared. So I'm going to say if element, if this element is in discard, which is a set, so it's going to have a constant lookup. So we're going to say or element is equals to an empty string, because we know that we are told that don't treat spaces as characters, so we're not supposed to add numbers after a space or the number of times a space occurred. So that's why we're doing this. Then we can say results.append element. Else what we need to do is that we can just say results.append string of this element. Then I'm just gonna say plus string of so I'm just gonna take frequency of dictionary because I want how many times this thing this element or character. I think I should have said character. I think the element might be confusing for some of you, but it's a character. So how many times this character occurred, then this will append them also. Then when I'm done, what I need to do is just to return results. Actually, I'm just gonna say dot join results, and this should work. So now submitting for the results, and it worked. Yes, it worked. So this is what we get. So I'm going to submit the solution, and it works. So yeah, I think guys, that will be it. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe. I'll really appreciate it. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.